Hello world, it's Kurtis Potter with Boundless Inspiration. Today I wanted to talk to you about the power of now, right? And it said, I'm sure you've heard it, there's no better time to do something than now. Other than say planting a tree, the best time to plant a tree was like 25 years ago. But unfortunately we can't go back in time. So the second best and really the best time for the present is now, right? So if you didn't plant that tree 25 years ago, plant it now, plant it today, plant that seed now, right? So if you're wanting to do something, again, you can't look in the past other than if you're going to use it to excel you. So not to get bitter and a point of shackling you and holding you back, but to push you forward and give you that mentality of, you know what, I didn't do it back then, so I'm going to do it now. So what made me think of this video and doing this video was a guy that I was doing some work with. He's like, hey man, could you do something for me? I mean, the task was pretty small, really. I just stopped what I was doing. I did it right then. And he's like, oh, no, you don't have to do it now. It literally took me like 3 minutes. And I knew that when he requested, I was like, oh, that's something super simple and I can do. And he's like, and he tried to stop me. He's like, hey, you don't have to do it now. You don't have to do it now. And I said, man, there's no better time to do it than now. There's no better time than now. And actually, I think there's a book called The Power of Now. And he's like, well, I just didn't expect you to. And I was like, yeah, I realize that. But if I didn't do it now, I probably would have not done it the rest of the day. I would have forgot. It would have went in the back of my mind. I would have got preoccupied. I would have been thinking about everything else I had to do today. Then I would have left and I would have been focusing on everything I had to do at home with my kids, being present as a father and a husband, dinner, giving my kids a bath, reading to them at night, like just like that. My day would have been gone. And then how many times have I gotten to work or to a place where I'm doing some kind of job and I'm like, it doesn't even register in my mind. I said, look, man, that took me like 3 minutes. It's already done. The whole time while you're trying to talk me out of doing it now, it's already done. And I'm speaking from experience because, especially I really do a lot of self-evaluations, especially at the end of the year, especially going into the New Year's, or especially on my birthdays, and I've realized like some big ones were like 25, 30, and 35, because I had these goals to hit this level by these certain ages. For some reason, like I put these expectations on myself where I got to hit it by then. But there were so many times where I knew that goal that I had, but I didn't make it intentional about all the steps to get there. So it never happened. And how many times, for instance, my wife was like, hey, can you do something? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. That honey to-do list that somehow never gets smaller. But you see these memes where it says, women, stop asking your man to do something over and over and over again. He'll get done in like 6 months or a year eventually, right? And then we can laugh about it, but it's the truth of the matter. And we all do it. Like, unfortunately, procrastination is a thing. And just like that instance with that guy, if I wouldn't have done it now, who knows if I would have ever done it. He may have just did it himself because he's like, man, I asked this dude. And then those unmet expectations are predestined disappointments. So he could have asked me that and I could have authentically been like, yeah, I'll get to it. And just because I'm human and I have a lot going on, it could get in the back of my brain on importance level, and then I could have accidentally forgotten it. And that could have stewed up some kind of resentment or bitterness or anything, to where he just did it himself. And those thoughts could have came in his head, not understanding what I was going through. Actually, I was dealing with the loss of my brother-in-law, so I had a lot going on in my mind. And I just told him, I said, man, if I don't do it now, everything that I've got going on in my life, there's a really high likelihood that I could space it and not even do it. So I'd rather do it now because I told you that I would do it, and I'd rather make sure that I get it done so I can stand to my word that I gave you that I would do it. I'd rather not, I'd rather be intentional and be the source and take ownership on my side so that I can make sure that I do it. The power of now, right? I've researched just some of the benefits of doing stuff now, because you're like, you know what, but it can be done later. Well, chances are if you keep saying it'll be done later, then it may or may not ever be done. And you might be like, well, I've got, I'm only 20, I'm only 30, I'm only 40. I still got 60 years to live. My brother-in-law just passed away at 35. How many car accidents happen, not even to do with drinking and driving or anything like that. Somebody falling asleep at the wheel, somebody texting and driving, or just a plain out mistake. Somebody goes to turn and they don't even see you. It didn't have nothing to do with they was doing anything wrong. They just using your peripheral vision. Next thing you know, there's a car wreck, and then it's a multiple car wreck and somebody dies. Accidents happen. You think you have all the time in the world, but the power of now is so important because unfortunately, you could be dead tomorrow. I could be dead tomorrow. So if I keep saying I'll do it tomorrow, there may not be a tomorrow. Some of the benefits of doing it now, they said that, for instance, you know how you may have resisted doing something like stepping into a business or just any kind of challenge, right? And we've all done it where we just resisted, like, I don't know, it's so scary. But once you took that first step, it was like, man, that wasn't so hard. And then as you got further along in the process of whatever you was resisting, and you was like, dude, why was I even worried about this? Why did I think it was going to be so hard? It's actually super simple. And then once you become like that gym, once I work out more and more and more, today I was like, I just knocked out some reps and I was like, next time I do this workout, I get to go up another level. I don't add the weights until I, for instance, like on bench, until I can do 3 sets of 10. I do one weight, then I put more weight on there and more weight on there. And not until I can do that third rep of weights, then I go up. So the next time when I start, I'm going to start off at a higher level. And I just celebrated that today. I was like, man, I'm so proud of myself for putting in this work. I get to go to the next level. And I remember when I first started getting back into working, I was like, man, this is hard. This sucks. My body hurts. My chest hurts today, folks. I'm just going to whimper for just a little bit. But I get to step up in that level. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm back to the point where I'm just enjoying it. I'm not resenting it. So that's one of the benefits of starting the power of now, is it just gets easier and easier and easier as you go along. If you're persistent and you stay consistent, right? Things get easier, like working out, your diet, going to counseling, going to mentor, going to workshops, being obedient, building relationships, saying sorry, taking ownership, making wrongs or making rights out of your wrongs. It all gets easier, right? Some other benefits is it builds confidence. When you do something now, you build confidence and you actually minimize anxiety. How many times, I could tell you how many times I've just looked at something, I was like, man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And it was just like a snowball. It was just creating this anxiety in my head. And some of the times I even went into depression because I was resisting something so much. Like this speaking, I'm like, you know what? It just started building. I started hearing all these different things that people had said to me. Kurtis, you can't do it. You remember your past. You failed. You messed up. Even when I was going through my speaking, I put myself on this platform where I was like, I had to be perfect, and then I'd fail, and then it'd just pull me back. I'd get so mad at myself and shameful and like, why did I mess up again? I had to give myself grace and say, you know what? Like, I messed up. I'm not a robot. I'm not perfect. Get yourself back up and do it again. The power of now. Get myself back up now. Shift now. Use air, acknowledge, interrupt, and replace it with, hey, it's all right. Just get back up now. How fast can I shift? Go from stuck to unstuck. How fast can I go now? Power of now. If you're struggling with something and you're resisting it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it now, right? Take that first step and see how easy it is. Because I promise you, the resentment of failing versus the resentment of never starting, man, never starting is the one that will just continue to haunt you and haunt you and haunt you. But when I made those mistakes, I'm like, I can learn from them. I did learn from them. How can I get better? You work on it and then you start again. And now it's like, man, I didn't make that stupid same mistake. Like, head against the wall a couple times because I'm hard-headed. But you know what? Power of now. Just kept going, just kept fighting, just kept pushing through. And it gets easier and easier and easier. And I don't care what you're going through. I've been through almost it all. I heard a lot of women say, well, I was raped, and they're just trapped by it. Well, I was molested, and I'm a guy. So then I had like homophobic issues and bitterness issues, and I couldn't talk about it because I had to be so manly, blame myself, shame, guilt, all that. So what's your excuse? I've got a bad knee. Okay, there's knee braces. You can get knee surgery. My buddy just had double knee surgery. I always talk about that video about the guy that had no legs and finished a Spartan race. Just saw a video the other day of a 75-year-old man that has 8-pack abs, phenomenal shape. What's your excuse? Power now. Destroy excuses. Destroy your procrastination. Just take that baby step. For me, whenever I realized I was struggling with procrastination, I had to start off small. I was like, you know what, Kurtis? I'm just going to be a master of all the little things. Because I can do some little things, and success is a bunch of little things done well. Not perfect, not the big things done perfect, not the big things done well, just a bunch of little things done well. So I started off by making my bed every day. I started off by brushing my teeth twice a day, in the morning, in the evening. I started off by cutting out the little foods that I knew were harming me. So I started by cutting out soda. And then I started by cutting out deep fried foods. Just little steps. And I started cutting out candy and ice cream. I love it. I have a sweet tooth. You can ask my wife. I love some sweets. Now I reward myself every once in a while. I'll be like, hey, now it's time to have me a sweet. Power of now. How can I write just a chapter in my book? How can I do a little bit of research for my business? How can I set myself up now for something that you may not be doing now? For instance, like a business. How can I start writing out a business plan now? What books can I read on starting a business now? To also prevent yourself from that falling later. That's one thing I wish I would have done, would have been a little bit more intentional about the research and stuff I did going into some of those situations. See, my reason of some of those failures and why I didn't was because I was so successful at just winging things. Like, even if I just winged it, then I would still somehow turned out doing great. You know, on some levels, people are, man, you're just good at a lot of stuff. And I am. Thank the Lord above. He gave me all these talents and abilities. You have them too. You have your own talents and abilities that I know have gotten you through situations that you did not do the work to get through, and you just winged it. See, I never got worse than a C in school my whole life. And most times I was not even doing the work. If I would have, I could have got straight A's. I know it. So now, what can we do to become boundless in our preparation and getting us through this? The power of now. Do it now. Research now. Do your due diligence now. Be a steward of everything you have now. Do the little things well now. And it'll set you up where things will just start opening up in your life. It'll be amazing. The big things start getting easier. When you master the little things, the big things get minimized. You've already taken those steps and you've built up your strength. You've built up your muscles. Those big weights they're not even big no more. They're not giants no more. You can slay them. You could kill them. You could destroy them. Sometimes the power of now is reaching out to people to ask for help. I resisted getting help for so long. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start asking for help because there's certain things that Kurtis can't do by himself. I can't do everything alone. Power now might be reaching out and getting a mentor. I've been seeking out mentors. I've got a handful of mentors now, spiritual fathers, people that I look up to, people that are helping guide me when I'm like, man, I don't know what to do right now. So I asked them, hey, buddy, if you was in my shoes, what would you do now? I hope this helped you. If you know somebody else that really could benefit from hearing a video on the power of now, please like, share, comment, tag them, send it to them if you want. Accountability partners are amazing. So say, hey, we both have something that we need to do now. We got to stop procrastinating. Let's do it together. Hold each other up, not push each other down. Make it a competition if you want, but not to talk down on them, but to lift them up. Be like, hey, man, I just hit this level. Where you at? Because we all have that competitiveness inside us. And what better than one of your best friends and you and your best friend succeeding now, or at least going in the right direction to succeed together now. You both leveling up now. Imagine how that's going to affect your families, your kids if you have them, maybe even your parents. Best way to really show appreciation to your parents is be successful. Prove them all right, prove them all wrong, whatever you want to say. Prove yourself right that you can do this now and you can achieve and you can become successful and you become boundless. I know you have it in you. And I invite you to just take that first step now. I love you all. I hope this helped you. Every single day, we're just getting a step closer to being boundless. Have a great day.